Okay, we live, Zach?
Yes, you are, sir.
All right, it's time that we begin our meeting. Paula, will you do the roll call, please?
District 1, Councilmember Alderwoman Anna Correa. Present. District 3, Alderman David Every.
I'm here.
District 4, Alderman Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 2, Alderman Richard Hughes, and District 5, Alderman Matthew Martinez are absent.
Okay, and just for the record, the mayor is not available tonight, so I'll be sitting in as Mayor Pro Tem. Let's all stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Zach, do we have anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. Next item is citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the City Council on any issue or item of the agenda in compliance with LGC Section 551.007. The City Council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each, and that's according to the Attorney General Opinion JC-0169. We have no one on the list. Would anyone like to address the council before we begin? I'll do as the mayor normally does, going once, going twice. All right, Paula, we have no one who wants to talk to us right now. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Item 5A, consider approval of minutes, and we have minutes from June 16th, 2025, a special meeting, and June 23rd, 2025.
I'd like to start by making a motion to approve the consent agenda for June 16, 2025 and June the 23rd, 2025.
All right, do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, good. Any discussion on that?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just for the audience, so you know, if things look a little bit different, when the Mayor Pro Tem, who is usually an alderman, acts as the mayor, by state law, he is allowed to make motions, and he is allowed to vote on the motions. So it looks a little strange to see the person running the meeting actually voting, but it's proper, just so you know. All right? Okay, let's move on. Item 5B, consider approval of payment of bills, and these were in the agenda that was sent out to you.
I'd like to start by making a motion to approve the payment of bills as presented.
I second that motion.
Okay, do we have any discussion on?
I have one question. On the postings for the newspaper,
Yes.
generally are those paid for by the requester of an amendment, of motions made, or does the city pay for that, or does the person that?
Yeah, so we increased some of our costs this last year to include some of those costs, but if you recall, we didn't get like the full cost to be in there. So we are incurring quite a bit of costs when it is for like requested type information. Now, if it's ours, obviously we're paying the full cost on it. So
if let's say somebody moving in a mobile home, they want to get permission to do that, and it has to be posted in the paper.
Yeah.
The city's paying the full bill for that?
Pretty close to it. I mean, I think on the mobile home, just or manufactured home, we only charge, like $50 for the application fee. So, and that's all we're covering. So obviously that eats up just in staff time, alone, but to prepare those items. But yeah.
What other cities do?
It's kind of hit or miss across the board. I mean, if you want, there are plenty of cities that do want to cover their costs, so they just, they pass that on, like they determine what that's going to be and they pass that on. But, we also don't know, by the time the application is submitted, and we go through that process, we can give them a general idea of what it's going to cost, but it does vary depending on how big it needs to be and various things in the paper. So,
thank you. Just a general question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Let's move on to item 6, the open session. We'll take actions on items discussed. Item A. Consideration and possible action concerning a request from 702 Tejas owner regarding the possible permanent closure and sale of Davis Street from Highway 132 to Oak Street. And if you heard me correctly, he's asking us if the city will sell him a street, and Zach is going to talk about this.
And I do have the owner from 702 Tejas here as well, if y'all have any questions. But we did receive this request from 702 Tejas to look at the potential for abandoning and closing that small portion of Davis Street. I actually, just so y'all can see a little bit better, provided the area that we're talking about. So you have 702 Tejas to the left here, and then the Hacks building is on the right-hand side of that street. There's actually a tree that is in the middle at the front of the right-of-way there on the 132 side. So they're looking to close this. It's my understanding that they lost a little bit of, or a good chunk of their parking when the Lytle Donuts recently fenced their property, which took up quite a bit of what they believed was their parking and what they were using for parking, but unfortunately that is the property line, and so it did take away quite a bit of parking from 702 Tejas. So I think their goal, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to obviously gain some additional space where they can eventually park and have parking there. So we wanted to they wanted to make the request, see if it's something that council would be willing to go down that process to do. Just to kind of real quick about the process, if that is something, then we would need to, because we would be selling property basically, we would need to get it appraised, determine the fair market value for it, and ultimately sell that off. Normally it goes to, you kind of take generally the center line of the street and it would go half to one side, half the other. I believe they've talked with the Hacks about the potential of just having it all and then them sharing it between them, but that's just to kind of give you a gist of what this request is.
Who would pay for any platting of this road before sale or evaluation of it?
So normally, we don't have an abandonment policy, but normally cities would ask that the applicant of this request would make that those costs to the city. Obviously, the city would pay up front to do some of that work, but ultimately we would ask for those costs back. That's very typical. Like I said, we don't have a policy in place, but that is typically what happens around the state.
Okay. Chief, let me ask you a question here, and Matt, you may know. I know that this is not a highly used road. Just give me your opinion.
Well, I am normally not for city getting rid of roads, but if there ever was a case for it, this would probably be a case for it. It's not an emergency. You can't get fire and emergency vehicles through there very well. You've got a tree in the middle of the road. It's very short. It's not going to be used to respond to emergencies through there. You're not going to be, it's really, of all streets, again, personally, I don't like the city getting rid of property, but in this scenario, it would benefit our commercial district probably much more. I can't think of anything negative.
The only thing I would say is when we had that fire down at Linda's Trademark, the closest fire hydrant for us to pull to that day was on that back corner at Oak and Davis, and selling that property would cut that off. So if that's something the city's doing, we need to look at how do we place fire hydrants on water mains out on Main Street there. If there is one, or what we do, because that was our closest hydrant.
So right now it's on Oak Street, not Main Street, the fire hydrant?
Where's the fire hydrant at, Matt?
It's right there.
It's right in the Hacks.
Yeah, right in the corner. That's the one that we were just replacing.
Yeah, I mean the thing is we could, if it's something council wants to consider, either looking at fire hydrant access off of Main, or establishing easements through that platting document to ensure that we have access to anything like that.
Sure.
So
That would be
yeah.
the cheaper option.
Well, sure. Sure.
Well, I know the statement was already made about some kind of agreement between the two property owners, but easement would obviously make sense because the rear of Hack's property there is a back door. And a gentleman's agreement or a written contract, obviously could take care of that, but an easement, that would establish a right-of-way for the city, correct?
Yeah, the ability to access for any reason, even if, obviously I would want to make sure if we had water lines, I don't know that we do, but going down that street or anything like that, we would ensure that we have easements to be able to address anything along that. And really, I know their use of the property along with the Hacks, it would have to be seen a little more than a gentleman's agreement for purposes of closing that, so that way we know we have everything free and clear.
But by gentleman's agreement, I just meant that if I'm going to turn it into a parking lot, you have access to park your vehicles. Does this going to be open to the public? Do we have to have a open session for them to come and voice their opinions? Or
So normally that's not a part of the process. Of course, again, without a policy, we can do anything we wanted to do. But normally it's not a part of the process. Yeah.
Would the city have to take bids on it, or can we sell it specifically to somebody?
You can send, depending. There's
I don't know
various.
the legality of a municipality selling property.
Yeah.
versus a general person.
It depends. There's certain distinctions that would potentially have to go to a bid, but sometimes on right of way like this, normally you don't see that happening. So.
Along that line, I mentioned this to Zach when we were talking about this. You remember the little street that ran through the Vaughn's storage place and went back into the tennis court area of the park? And the folks there on Somerset said, we'd like to buy that road since nobody uses it, doesn't go anywhere. And I think they just asked if they could buy it, and we came up with a price and we sold it to them. Do you remember?
I don't believe that was ever sold. That's still city property.
That's still city.
Yeah, we never sold that.
Yeah, I think maybe they wanted to, but we needed
The city
park
did.
access. That's what I recall, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay,
I might.
we would have to check that. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we voted on selling that to him because he cleaned it off and it's a garden now.
So we're not talking about actually Bank Street then that runs between.
Yeah, not big.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's something else.
No,
Okay.
no,
I'm thinking we're talking about Main Street. I was like,
It was an unpaved road, but it was marked as a road, and it went off of Adam Street back to the gate by the tennis courts at the park, and it was just overgrown. It was an overgrown mess. And when we dealt with that a couple years ago, I don't remember it going up to bid. They just asked if they could buy it, and we came up with a price.
Normally you don't. In that situation, you probably didn't have two owners on each side because it was, we were the owner probably, so that was part of that,
Yeah.
So that you do have that in that particular situation. Normally on street right of way, when there's abandoning it or vacating it, closing it, whatnot, normally you don't see that bidding process. There are times where you could.
Yeah.
Especially if like the city was just planning on doing it, but now we have somebody asking for that, and so.
yeah, I'm actually in favor of this. I think what Chief Priest said is very very true. I mean, if there ever was a road to sell, then it's probably be like right on the top of the list. Moving forward,
Hold on, is the owner, okay. Can you step up here so I can ask you a couple questions, do you mind? Give us your name and where you live.
And Swatus Crandall.
Okay. What would be your plans? It's a paved road right now. What would you do to the surface of the road, the markings of the road,
Well, that's something we'd have to cross that bridge once, if it was approved or not, because we literally have zero parking. On the other side of the left of the building is where WIC is at, and where the donut shop put the fence line instead of putting it on the curb. I'm assuming he had a property line, or
I'm sure
that's not what we had, but he didn't notify us, and all of a sudden nobody can now park on that side of the fence at all because now there's a fence and there's a curb.
Right.
And there's like a good, 24 or 2 feet in between that, is dead. So there's literally no parking. So it's only the 2 spaces in the front and 5 spaces in the back. And then if they park parallel. So that's why we've considered, and spoke to Dr. Hack, and he's like on board. And, again, too, we'd have to cross that bridge because there's very, very seldom you'll see cars even come through that street at all, if any.
My question was, you
But if we were to,
asphalt out,
we'd have to, definitely, more than likely, it's going to be asphalt.
you're just going to leave it the way it is?
Asphalt. But of course, putting lines so that people can park. Because I know this last event that we just had, we just kind of parallel park, like side next to each other instead of behind each other at an angle. So people were able to park on both sides of that street. So, it'll give us, some type of parking because it's hard to run a business if there's no parking.
Okay.
Yeah, you could get quite a few cars in there if you were to park in an angle.
Yeah, at an angle. So that's what
And
we
it
did.
still would leave a little room for Hack to be able to access his side of it too.
Right.
Okay.
So my
Thank you.
question was to be able to move forward. I'd like some more investigation on this. I like the easement part of it, to have access or right of way through there.
Yep.
But I know all that needs to be worked out, and the language needs to be put together.
I think the biggest thing for tonight was, we don't want to run down those traps
Yeah.
if you're not even interested as a body to do that. So it sounds like there's interest there, and so we'll be happy to run down those.
So can we just make a motion to...
Because it will come back. It'll have to come back because it's still...
Yeah, I would entertain a motion to table this to allow the city...
Or take no action for now and have it come back?
Either one works.
Let's table it till 2 weeks, next meeting? They give you time to...
We could at least start the process. I don't know if we'll have everything.
So
hashed
let's
out
just
by
take no
then.
action. I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'd like
we'll
to
take
make a
no
motion
action.
to Take no
and
action
If you're ready in 2 weeks, we'll come back in 2 weeks.
on item 6A.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I made the motion to
Okay.
to table.
I second that.
Okay.
Just to table.
All right. Do we have
Take no action, I'm sorry.
any further discussion on this? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. And opposed? No opposed, it passes. Zach, if you would, work with the owners there and work out the fine details and come back to us whenever you're all ready.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, the next item, B, consideration and possible action concerning Resolution 25-35, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, authorizing a temporary waiver to the noise ordinance for the City of Lytle for 702 Tejas on August 30th, 2025, providing for incorporation of preamble and providing an effective date. Zach?
All right, Mayor and Council, similar to ones we have allowed before, 702 Tejas has asked for the date of August 30th for a temporary noise ordinance waiver for an event that they will be hosting at their facility, and they plan to have obviously stuff outside, and so want to obviously try to waive that as long as possible for that day, and so the request is before you for that.
Okay, do we normally put some time constraints?
Well, the business itself has a late hours license to go to at least sell beer until 2 a.m. So normally it would be as long as the business is open, which they would end at 2 a.m. So, but it's totally up to y'all what y'all want to consider as far as reasonable.
Yeah, because the resolution includes time limits for
Yeah,
10 to 7 a.m.
Traditionally, now I know we did it once for something on Main Street. Traditionally, the only thing we ever done ordinance variance for is a church festival or something like that.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, they had live music Saturday night. I think it was Saturday night.
But it was 6:30 to
Yeah,
9:30.
and it was loud at my house at 6:30, but it eased off, and by 9:30 they were done. But I mean, you know where I live, so I could still hear it, and we were monitoring it and see if we got any more complaints or anything, and everything was shut down. So I don't know if you want to go to 2 in the morning with live
yeah.
music outside. I mean, you're just going to have to understand. We're going to have to tell people council approved that, and that's going to. I mean, we can. Do y'all want to go to 2?
They want to go till
What do you have in
12.
mind?
12 midnight.
Yeah, because the church has it till midnight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sometimes even they do normally around here. So what I would suggest is, this is just my opinion, if y'all approve that, we go to midnight and see how it plays out. If you get a lot of complaints, then it might not, but we try to see. I mean, but I wouldn't want to, I would say please don't go to 2 in the morning. That'd be my
Okay.
thank you.
I would entertain a motion to grant this with the cutoff at midnight.
I second that.
No, I'm suggesting that someone make the motion. Would you like to make that motion?
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay.
Make a motion to grant.
So we have a motion to approve the noise ordinance for cutoff time of midnight. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And I second. Any further discussion?
Yes. So,
Go ahead.
anticipating that the previous item was not going to be approved or completed, is it possible to close that street during this time, Chief Priest?
We again, like Mr. Meadows will tell you, we don't have, normally a city will have a policy on temporary road closures. Now, I would say we have done this before over there based on agreement between all of us. We put up barricades just because, again, it doesn't impact, no one complains,
Well, I just would like to
makes it safer.
put a closure there so they can park in there.
It makes it safer.
Something we do at the school during football games
Yes,
too.
but the school got permission years ago. But we really need to have a policy that allows, like, for temporary road closures, that the city administrator, police, whoever can come up with a plan. But yes, I don't have a problem with that. It makes it safer.
For now, can we include it in the motion to allow that
It
street
wasn't
to
in
close?
the original
Oh, well, no.
resolution 2535.
Neither was the midnight, but we were changing the time. So I guess that would have been an Austin question if we could add that in.
Yeah, I mean, the time shouldn't be an issue just because.
So let me ask the owners, would you like to have that street closed, or?
We would love to.
Just for that night, for that
Yeah,
event.
it would just be for that night.
So I think absent of any policy, as the chief said, I mean, I think as long as they make a request to the police department to close that, and then he will talk to me, and we'll go from there. About
Okay. So it doesn't need to be part of the motion.
Yeah, we have time, and you can bring it as an agenda item next meeting, and we have plenty of time to vote on it. Okay, so as it stands, we have a motion to approve the noise waiver with the cutoff time of midnight. We have first and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? The item carries. Thank you. All right, item C, consideration and possible action concerning ordinance number 25-12, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, granting a petition for the incorporation of the hereinafter described property into the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the City of Lytle, Texas, and extending the boundary limits of said extraterritorial jurisdiction to include said hereinafter described property, and granting to all inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges offered by law, and binding said inhabitants by all the acts, ordinances, resolutions, laws, and regulations of the City of Lytle and the state that may be applied or enforced within the extraterritorial jurisdiction. Zach.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, we have had a request to incorporate the property located at 18190 Interstate I-35 South into the city's ETJ. I went ahead and provided y'all, just so y'all will have a map of that particular piece of property. I know there was some exhibits in the packet on this item, but just for ease of clarification with the property, in red there is the property in question. The dotted line or the dash line going through the property is the current ETJ limits. So I would say 80% of the property, if not more, is in the current ETJ, and what they're looking to do is just take that ETJ line and basically it would follow the property line on the boundary. bounds that are not currently within the ETJ. So I do have the applicant here to answer any questions or concerns that you may have. But the other thing I would like to note is, I know in the past when we've extended the ETJ, it's always come up about, okay, what does that fully mean? Obviously, any subdivision regulations would be applicable. This property is already included in our water CCN, so it's not anything changing from that standpoint. The CCN goes a little bit further to the north there. And so, there's really just the inclusion of that. The reason we've asked for this is I think they are intending to potentially annex the property into the city, and it just makes it a lot cleaner if they choose to do so, to have this ETJ line following the property. So,
The black line there between the yellow and the light purple, is that the current city boundary?
Current city limits, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So I saw notations for the property 188312, which is the front of the boot. But I didn't see anything about that property that's along I-35, which is 188295, which is the larger part, based on the drawings that I saw. Are you saying that this whole boot section is going to be included in this?
Yeah, so there are two. It is split between two different properties. So yeah, the ordinance is for both particular parcels.
Okay,
yes.
I didn't see the mention of that property.
Yeah, it should have both been included.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then our new EJT would be
Yeah, the new ETJ basically would
outlining that.
yeah, it would just literally, obviously everything that's included, probably right at the 35 side, it would just kind of then run up 35 along the property and then come down and then again continue on. There's no any additional land at this point being added to it.
Basically that triangle can be on.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So it would just then incorporate that, and that's again the same thing that we did over with the Rowan project, where we extended their ETJ to just cover their property, and it just literally outlines their property and around. So. Yes, they'll update the map once that's done. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Would you like to add any information to this?
That's pretty accurate. I appreciate it. I'm Eric Rodriguez, the owner of Landlock, and thanks for presenting that. Our intention is to get that portion of the little triangle. It's just hanging out there to get annexed in there to your ETJ. So I appreciate the consideration.
All right, good. Council?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-12, an ordinance of the City Council and the City of Lytle, Texas, granting a petition for the incorporation of the hereinafter described property into the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the City of Lytle, Texas, and extending the boundaries limits of said extraterritorial, I can't say that.
Extraterritorial.
Extraterritorial, thank you, just jurisdiction to include said herein after described property, and granting to all inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges or enforced within the extreme extraterritorial jurisdiction. Did I get the whole thing in there?
You might have missed one line there.
Okay.
it's
Offered by law and binding said inhabitants by all acts, ordinances, resolutions, and laws and regulations of the City of Lytle and the state that may be applied or enforced within the extraterritorial jurisdiction.
Okay, so we have the motion to approve this. Do I have a second on this?
I'll second it.
And I then open this up for discussion. Do we have any further discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. The motion passes.
rough word, huh? The extraterritorial.
Extraterritorial.
I was getting something for that.
All right, let's move on to item D. Consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 25-36, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and TRC Engineers Incorporated for a task order regarding Aguilar Pearsall Road plat, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute all and any documents necessary to effectuate such agreement, and providing an effective date.
Right, so, Mayor and Council, this is just the task order to give TRC, one of our engineers, approval to start reviewing this particular plat. Just for reference, this particular property in question that's looking to be platted is only in our ETJ, is not in the city limits, but we still hold the subdivision authority over that property. Similar to one we've recently done is they've requested a septic system from Bexar County, and Bexar County is forcing them to plat the property. So that's why we have it before the city, and then ultimately to get them started on it, the task order in front of y'all. So.
All right, and my understanding is that the property owner will eventually pay for this task order.
Yes, so they, as a part of the application process, which is why it does indicate fully budgeted there, is they will have to pay the application fee along with the engineering costs, is what we built into the fee schedule. So.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 25-36, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and TRC Engineering Incorporated for a task order regarding Aguilar Pearsall Road plat, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and provide effective date today of July the 14th, 2025.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion on this item? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. The item passes. Moving on, item E, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 25-37, resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, ratifying the actions of City Administrator in executing change order number 2 to the agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and Underground Water Resources, LLC, for the plugging of well number 3, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and providing an effective date.
Mayor and Council, on March 24th, we entered the contract with UWR for the plugging of well 3. As they were going through that process, they unfortunately encountered more oil in that particular well than they expected, and as such, they needed a vacuum truck to kind of help in the process of throwing the concrete down or the cement down for that plugging. And so just given the timing of everything, I went ahead and signed off on that. If you recall, the original amount for the project was about $140,000 is what we intended, budgeted. We did change that in the first change order of this project to the lesser amount that we put in the bid, which was $121,000, and then this particular change order is for an additional $1,900. So I felt like we anticipated originally for, the higher price, and so felt comfortable signing off on this and trying to get this project done that's been open for quite a while. So obviously I would appreciate if you would ratify my action since it's already done.
Is the budget complete?
It is just about complete. They are out there. They had to kind of smooth out the surface and everything, but as far as the actual concrete portion and the plugging of it, it is completely done. So we'll work with CPS to remove power from the property, which is a requirement that Edwards and TCEQ have, or at least temporary unplug it at least, or remove it from the well site. But yeah, generally it is done. We're just making some final last minute things.
I just have a question, the way the action item is written, authorizing the mayor to execute. Should it be you or the mayor?
So normally on contract stuff it would be the mayor, and that's why the mayor's name is there, but obviously in your capacity currently you would be able to authorize it.
I knew that you had gone ahead and acted on this, and I didn't know if it would be you or the mayor in that case. Okay, that's fine. Anything else, Zach?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Council, what do you think?
In the motion, I would like to include the amount not to exceed 2,000, or can we?
No.
Do we do the total amount?
I think you could do the 1,900 and.
Well, I'll just round it off to 2,000.
Okay.
I think exceed 2,000, and then if they need additional monies, they can come to council.
Yep, that'd be fine.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 25-37, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, ratifying the actions of the city administrator in executing change order number 2 to the agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and Underground Water Resources, LLC, for the plugging of well number 3, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and to provide a clause not to exceed the $2,000, and provide effective date today of July the 14th, 2025.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second on this?
I'll second it.
All right, first and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. The item passes. Thank you. Item F, consideration of possible action concerning water and wastewater rate study completed by New Gen Strategies. Zach?
All right, so Mayor Pro Tem and Council, I will run through. In June, during our budget meeting, Matthew Garrett presented from New Gen the proposed rate study, and obviously given feedback from Council, we just have some quick updates, and also then talking with that team as well as our utility team here. Just had some questions and want to make sure we're on the right path so we can wrap this up before we do have certain time limits that we have to call public hearings, since we're going to be changing rates and things like that. So just want to try to wrap that up before, so we can move that in to start the new budget year. So really the biggest changes on this presentation, nothing changed from the proposed capital project side of the house. Or the cost projections. As you can see, the current rate structure has identical volumetric rates in place for residential, commercial, and small business. And if you recall, the proposed plan is to keep those volumetric rates the same, but the base charge would be based on meter equivalency, and so extending that up. This just shows the financial plan outcomes. Really, again, no particular change. This is if we did nothing, and just kept the status quo of moving forward. Obviously, you can see we would be in a world of hurt as far as cash on hand to be able to do things that we needed to do. And so again, meter equivalency is what they are suggesting, and this is a very common process and procedure in most water systems, and also recommended by the American Water Works Association as well. So what that kind of looks like is this is under I believe this is in So this is in the 100% scenario. If we were to day one say we're going full force meter equivalency, this is what you would see. So commercial doesn't change from the last presentation. Small business mirrors residential in this particular case. And as you recall, one of the conversations that was had at the June meeting was, hey, if there's residential out there that is 1 inch and above, that it doesn't have to be on 1 inch above, but they choose to be on a 1 inch meter above, then maybe we need to look at, also putting them under a meter equivalency aspect. So this scenario here does that, where you do see, from 1 inch, 1.5 to 3 and 4, where if those residential properties had that, then they would be charged a higher base rate and then followed through.
Can I jump in here before you continue? Suppose we do this and somebody happens to have a 1 inch line that's been there like forever, and they see that their rate's going to go up and they say, I don't want this. Can I go for a smaller line? Would we go in there and put the smaller line?
Yeah, normally we do. I mean, I think Pete even recently had someone they were servicing, and they talked to them, and they had a 1 inch meter and they didn't need to have it, and so we went ahead and switched it to a 5/8 in that particular case. So that does happen from time to time, and we fully expect, especially, I think I broke down the numbers in the data sheet. So we have approximately 29 residential customers on that 1 inch meter. We have 5 on a 1.5. Two residential customers on a 2 inch, and then we have 1 residential customer on a 3 inch. And so you can see kind of the impact, and obviously, they may choose once they start seeing those bills to go, hey, maybe I need to reconsider this. So, and the reason we want to do that is those larger meters do cause an impact of higher magnitude than your normal 5/8 or 3/4 meter. So that's why we're looking to suggest moving that direction. So again, this is, if you were to start day one, say everybody just 100% of the meter equivalent. Obviously, NewGen and staff is not suggesting to do that per se. We are suggesting to go with a 20% transition over time. And so that is this particular scenario, which was also presented last time to you. And you can see just a little bit, building up to that part of getting, in a couple years to the 100%. But this is what would be for 2026, or at least starting in October, where we're suggesting to go. The other thing on, let's see, I think it's later. I apologize. Again, if you recall, we would, on sewer, it would be a 10% increase because we have a lot more capital needs on the sewer right now with the wastewater treatment plant, a larger dollar. So you see that increasing annually charges. So for 2026, 10%, and then kind of ramping up. Again, these numbers can change. We are only setting for 1 year, but this just, kind of plans out the future, and we hope for better improvement there. And then 5/8 and 3/4 would see no water rate changes unless, again, residential would only see an increase to the base rate if we chose to go that route with this. So again, this is the proposed residential rates, no increase on 5/8 and 3/4. The commercial rates, one of the questions that, in looking, we don't have in the utility ordinance a distinction really of small business and commercial, right? So small business, commercial, and commercial, there's real no distinction in the ordinance. NewGen is suggesting maybe, since those customers that would have theoretically been considered small business would have been 1 inch and below, that they might as well just go under commercial and they would pay a little bit more for that 1 inch, but ultimately they would just follow the same commercial rates. Commercial would be commercial across the board, so we would kind of nix that small business commercial aspect. So if I can go back real quick to here, the third column would go away and it would just be the residential and the commercial, and all businesses would fall under that commercial type. So that's one of the questions that I've posed, is we would like some direction on whether that's something council wants to consider or not. And then the other two relate to commercial. Is in looking at our system, we found that our churches in the city are listed as residential properties. Don't know if that was a decision by prior councils. Again, there's no direction in the ordinance for that, but we wanted to make sure that that was known, that they are paying a residential rate, and if y'all wanted to continue that is perfectly fine. But wanted to make sure we kind of codify that if that's the way we're going, so that way in future councils or future city administrators down the road say, why the heck are we doing this? That way we know why that was the case. And then the same on irrigation meters. We don't have a lot of them, but especially popping up in the new subdivisions, especially with HOAs, they are buying meters for their kind of landscaped areas and park areas and stuff like that we kind of consider just irrigation meters. They also are paying a residential rate, and so wanted to make sure the question would be, should that continue or should that not? So I have my own opinion on that, but that's one of the questions that we have there. So I'll go through and then we can obviously dive into any of those conversations. So as proposed, this would be the financial outlook. Obviously, we get a lot better situation in later years. As far as days cash on hand, we are still right at that debt service coverage ratio of 1 or a little bit above 1. What this does is it really helps us kind of. We've had a lot of expenses in the utility side recently, and from a maintenance standpoint. And what this plan will do is kind of help us catch up the next couple years, and then start to build from that. And so that's where you see that kind of down, and then on that first graph, and then upward kind of mobility as we continue on throughout. These are just the 5-year impacts on various meter size. So this is residential on a 5/8 meter, what that could look like, obviously building in over time, and the same on the 2-inch meter. And the reason we use 5/8 and 2-inch, those are the typical meter sizes that we see, the most prevalent inside the city. Again, under this comparison, just so you all can see where we kind of would sit, the current rate compared to the proposed rate, we're either low to middle of the pack for various cities around us and the general San Antonio area. And then the commercial, we're a little bit higher, but we don't really change our position by doing what we're proposing from that standpoint. So again, the future considerations are still the same, something to think about as we continue down the road. But for now, these are just, kind of, I don't want to say pie in the sky, but things that, as we proceed into next year, looking at this again, because it is an annual thing that we really need to make sure we're staying on track, that, we may want to consider down the road, but nothing really for FY26 under this scenario. So. And that's pretty much it. So obviously I'd love to kind of talk about some of the questions, and again, those were outlined in the data sheet. Really the biggest thing, and that first one is Nugent as well as myself would suggest working in that 20% over time and not hitting everybody all at once. When you do rate changes, you're going to get a lot of calls anyways, and that just would further that issue, I think, and cause additional confusion and stuff like that. So we would prefer to do that, but that would be the first kind of question.
So based on that question, if you could go to their slide 14. So if this is the 5-year plan, this would be the increase that you're talking about, the general increase, right? When we approve this, each year we have to approve the additional rate increase, right?
Correct. Correct.
right?
Yeah.
This is not an overall.
What these plans normally do, you want to look over a 5-year period because the capital projects are going to be over that long of a time span. So you want to make sure that you're preparing yourself for future impact from a capital standpoint. So that's why they look over that time. But all you are ultimately going to be approved when we do those public hearings and those actions are for FY26.
The thing I did not like about this was the residential side was taking the full impact of the increase. Now, I understand that there's a difference between how much residents pay in versus how much commercial. But if you look at the overall 5-year plan, the residential on the wastewater is an increase of 1.92%. 192% increase over the 5-year plan, whereas the commercial for that same 5-year plan is only 0.5, right? Or 50% increase. So a majority of that increase is being absorbed by the residents.
Yeah,
Keeping in mind too that we're going to also grow as far as population. We're going to have more residents.
Yeah, and I think the way they were suggesting just to do the on the wastewater side, right, was just that 10%, the 10% across the board. I mean, I think you could theoretically go in there and say, yeah, right now we don't divvy it up between commercial and residential. They just pay the same rate, and so that's why they were suggesting just do the same 10%. I think we would need to look at breaking those up as categories, just like we do on the water, if we're going to kind of change that threshold for residential compared to commercial.
Because if you look at the difference there and the growth of the green, that's the commercial. Go to the residential.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at the impact there, the green, that's a majority of that is coming from the resident side.
Yeah.
I understand that when we break it up into the size of the meters and everything, that's also going to affect this graph, right?
Sure.
So the typical resident that has the half inch or the 5/8, whatever the other meters were, they're not going to feel that full impact of this increase, right?
Yeah, this is just based on a 5/8 meter. So yeah, the 3/4, 5/8, they're going to be the same rate, so they're going to see the similar thing. But yeah, as you go up, obviously that will change. The likelihood is they're using more water. They're probably using more sewer too.
So.
Well, I mean, they're one to one
Yes.
as far as how it's billed, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely have them consider something somehow to put more of the sewer burden.
Well, I mean, because the problem I have with this, when you look at the graph, you're looking at one person, you're looking at one residence, and their average bill is $49.30 in 2025, and by the end of 2030, it's going to be $80.98, and that's talking about one resident, right? It's almost a 200% increase. But then when you look at the commercial side, it's only 50% increase. It just, the number just don't look right to me. It just seems like a burden is being put on the residents. Although somebody could say, hey, $40 more is not that much.
Yeah.
So where are we now? We're looking into this. We're still deciding on how to move forward. But the first year, we should have it covered, right, based on their suggestion.
Yes. Yeah, so again, the only decisions that eventually you will be making is just for the 26 or 25-26 year, right?
Which seems reasonable. I mean, the numbers look good.
I think something, and I think something that council talked about when we met in June, right, about this was, and it was suggested that, really maybe not a full exercise like this, but making sure that we're looking at it every year to make sure we're tracking. And so that way we're not just going out there and telling people, in 5 years' time, you're going to be paying this, when in reality that might shift given a whole bunch of factors. Exactly. So, I mean, it's great to throw a dart out there and say this is what it's going to be, but when in reality we know that's not the case.
Hopefully, when you looked at the comparison between the cities, the ones that were lower than us were cities that have a very large economic base.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, San Antonio as a whole, Alamo Heights, I mean, they have so much commercial in that area
Yeah.
that the taxes from the commercial has to be helping their bottom line.
What I think we mentioned last time was in all of their numbers, they built in very little commercial growth. We know it's going to happen, but the problem is it hasn't happened thus far, so it's really hard to say, it's going to be put in. We know it will. We've seen things. We have people coming to us, but as of right now, this is contemplating almost, a flat line of where we're at, just adding the residents, right? So we know that's not going to be the case, and these numbers will change over time.
But here's my question for tonight, so we can move this along. Do we have to prove anything, or do we settle this out in the budget discussions?
It is going to be a play in the budget. Tonight, really just want to be able to go back to the group at Nugent and say, here, this is the final feedback that we have on these various items, so that way they can give us a final report, so that way we can ultimately schedule those hearings if we are going to raise the rates or not. So I am looking for some feedback, at least on these items, so that way we can wrap that up, and then that will play a factor in our budget going forward.
Yeah, in regards to your first question, that definitely does explain it. If you look at the overall 5-year period, and you can also adjust for the different factors between now and then. Definitely, this looks good.
The issue on the churches being residential, so many factors come into play there. I know some have very small footprint as far as grass that needs to be watered, so they're probably not doing a whole lot there, and they only meet a couple days a week, so there's not a lot of water usage or a lot of sewage usage. So it would sound like a residential categorization for them is probably appropriate, but
and it's something, in talking with Matthew with Nugent, he said it's not typical to have that, but really it's up to whatever y'all want. We saw with the stormwater, we treated the churches a little bit different. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities to treat them differently here as well. It's a utility just like the stormwater is. So I really just want to make sure, by making that, if you were to make that change, it just means increased revenue at the end of the day, slightly. I mean, it's not like we're overrun by churches, right? And you have a slight increase in the revenue projections.
And we don't have megachurch campuses here with 25 acres of grass that needs to be watered every week. Yet.
With regards to number 5, the irrigation meters, that definitely should be under commercial, because these HOAs are making money off of them.
Yes, I agree on that. So that's
sounds like residential is fine on the church side, or generally, or.
Well, we would need to look at possible exemptions.
I think that's something we need to discuss as we're going through the budget, and also in consideration of future ordinance changes and designations. And that goes back to the difference between small business and commercial. We need to codify that, because sooner or later we're going to have more small businesses in here. We're going to have more commercial. And there's going to be a fine line. Somebody's going to say, wait a minute, my income, net income is $100 over the commercial line this year, so now I have to pay this much more in water. Show me something in writing. So, and
it is not. It wouldn't be necessarily because the volumetric rate, like that they use, they're being paid for, whether across the board, right? And that's not changing. It's just in the base rate that they would be paying. So if you recall, let me go back here.
Well, that is the size of the line too. So.
Yeah. So this is under the 20%. So if you notice here, small business in this scenario is mirroring the residential.
Right.
So you're basically treating any of those small businesses like a residential property, just in the actual meter size. Now, my guess is those small businesses will use more than a residential, so they're gonna, they will pay more ultimately in the end of the day. But that's on the use side. We're just talking about on the meter size. So.
Yeah, and like I said, it's also based or calculated on the size of the line going in there, so, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so for number 2, we would definitely have them look
So
into changing
residential
from
be
the
paying
residential to
more.
commercial.
Residential be paying more based on meter size.
Well, to be converted to commercial, it's designated residential, but it should be converted over to, or restated to commercial.
Well, they would keep the residential type. It would just be they would change based on their meter size.
Right, but the building would be commercial.
No, it would still reflect them as residential. It would still reflect them as residential. They would just be at a different base rate.
The cost of water is not different for commercial versus residential then?
Nope, it's the base rate.
Based on usage?
Yeah. It's just usage.
Right, because
It's the same-
my bill is $20 a month plus my usage.
Exactly.
So you have here the volumetric rates for residential are at the bottom here. So it's based on usage. And then if you look over here, it's the same amount on commercial for water. There's no difference from that standpoint. And they're suggesting to keep that the same. It was just the base rate, the meter would change, that would change based on the meter size that they have. Now, some cities do. I want to be clear, Councilman. Some cities do have, and that was one of the future considerations, I believe, on here, where changing or restructuring, the volumetric tiers. But as of right now, that is the same.
I thought we were considering surcharges.
So surcharges would be a separate conversation. So that completely separate. Correct. Yes. Yeah, that would be a completely separate conversation.
Maybe that's where I'm getting crossed out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because I'm looking at the proposed residential rates for commercial and, like I said, residential, and they're the same.
Are there any other items you want us to talk about tonight before we move on?
The big things to kind of continue to move it forward and finalize it. So, I think I have. So the majority of council, it sounds like you're comfortable keeping the small business category and not eliminating that and putting them under commercial. That okay? Yes. Okay.
But that's not a vote, that's just an opinion.
Yeah, totally understand.
We're not approving this whole 5-year plan right now. So as I see it, we don't need a motion on this and a vote on this tonight. You'll take the information you've gleaned from us tonight into the budget discussions as we move forward, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for Zach at this time? Okay, so it's not a vote, but we're not taking any action on that. Let's move on to G. A briefing and discussion concerning quarterly investment report for period ending June 30th, 2025. Again, Zach, you're up.
All right. So Mayor and Council provided in the packet and up on the screen is our quarterly investment report for the period ending in June. You see on the top there the certificates of deposit that we still hold at Lytle State Bank and the balance of those, as well as the maturity dates, so you kind of have an idea. The top two, the Lytle Museum one and the Jumbo CD on the top two there under CD, those are the ones that were approved for closure at the last council meeting, but they need the minutes from the last time, and obviously we're waiting until that maturity date of July 21st, so we just wanted to be ahead of the game on those, and so those will come off and those will be moved into text pool. Speaking of text pool, you have down at the bottom there, you'll see the original transfer in that was made back in April, and then the April interest as well as May interest. The June transfer in, which was 2 CDs that were closed back in April-May time frame, and then so we made that transfer in June, and then the interest for June. So as you can see, worth the investment, I think, to move to text pool, given some of the numbers we're seeing off of the interest from that. So. no action needed, just as a requirement to present this to y'all for y'all's.
Okay. Any questions for Zach on that item? Okay, we have time to get into our department reports. So if we follow the way we have it here, we'll do the department reports and probably do a break and then finish up with our executive session. All right, you're up. Animal care and control.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I will be giving a report for the...
Pull the mic down a little bit so that people...
Okay, can you hear me?
Computer can hear you.
Okay. I'll be giving the report for the City of Lytle Animal Care and Control. Let's see. Top button, right?
Top, the big button. There you go.
Okay. So our calls for service for June were 10, trap set 0, animals euthanized 1, animal surrender 0, animals returned to owner 3, animal intake 8, adoptions we had 6 for June, animal count were 23 dogs, 16 cats as of June 30th. Now in the shelter we have 25 dogs and 12 cats. For the adoptions, oh no, God's Dogs Rescue. Okay, they took 12 kittens from us. My paper done and stuff. Okay, anyways. Our adoptions were Simba, Bailey, Dan, Calvin, and Abby, Misty, and here are some pictures for you guys to look at of our adoptions. Bella's Pantry from June 28th, 77 pet owners received food. I'll give you a second to look at that. Events were June 14th, Dragonfly Veterinary Clinic. June 21st, Father's Day Adoption Event. June 28th, Bella's Pantry. Upcoming events for July 12th, Dragonfly Veterinary Clinic. July 20th, Dog Days of Summer Adoption Event. That will be this weekend. Bella's Pantry, July 26th, 2025. And here's our flyer for this weekend's adoption event. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Are we lowering the adoption rates for this event?
No, we're not. It's going to stay the same. And that's it.
Any questions on animal care and control?
Is there one picture for the adoption? Is that one a puppy?
Which one? Can I go back? No, that one's actually a puppy. So I think he's going to grow up to be a yeah, he's a puppy.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we have the library. Are you taking this?
Well, I will run through it. I really wasn't prepared, but I know she unfortunately fell under the weather. So, but obviously you can see the computer usage for the month of June there for the adult and the kids' computers. The checkouts 1910 looks like. Users there 28. 10 users, 28 loans. Library card statistics for the month. Looks like a lot of new accounts, apparently 16. So getting all those kids in for summer, I guess, you know. Story time, craft with us there on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We did. If you haven't been by, it's much brighter in there. We did change out the lights to the LED lights in there, and so I know that they are very happy about that. We don't have any dark corners anymore in the library, and so if you get a chance, go by and see that. So we have a craft with us every Thursday, and earlier in July or earlier this month we had the foam bubble party, which it was a huge success. I think we had more participants this year than we did last year, so I know that Cassandra's interested in continuing to look at that in the summers. Atascosa County Library Board meeting on July 1st, July 2nd, business meeting for SCLRT. Don't ask me what that means. July 9th and 11th is TLA Executive Officer Training in Round Rock. She just did that. So still working on the library labels project, curbside, and the calendar for the month, and those are the displays.
And the foam bubble party, how does that clean up? It just...
I guess it's
just like shooting bubbles, and then basically whenever they constantly are shooting them, because they're constantly just like, if you're wash your car, they just disappear, and then when you're through, basically you got a bunch of kids to walk around and clean your parking lot for free.
Nice and sparkly, right?
Can eat off of the thing. It might be a little soapy, but clean you out.
But I know it's a huge success. We've had a lot of people coming for that, and thank you to being out there. So.
Really, the mayor posted some pictures of the
Yes,
kids out in the parking lot.
yes, definitely.
Okay, any questions about the library?
Hopefully not, because I probably can't answer them.
All right, let's move on. Pete, can you tell us about Public Works, please, sir?
Oh, yeah, we're busy. We had no meters installed. Main breaks, we had 2. Replaced meters, we had 5. Service lines, 0. Angle stop, 0. Meter washer, 0. And service line leaks, we had 3. Customer leaks, we had 4. Reread H2O, customer requests, we had 30. City requests, we had 7.
I would like to say we had our first charge.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be one of the questions.
Yeah, I hadn't added, I forgot to add or have them added, but we did have our first reread charge for a second time they've asked, and it was a radio read meter, so I mean, like, it was pretty clear it was going to be right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just wanted to let you know that.
No main stoppages for the sewer. Customer had 1. We had a customer. We had final 4 H2Os new. We had 5. No cutoff list. No reconnects. Miscellaneous work orders. We had 10. There's a chart. And the water usage. What did Austin say about this? The water? We're doing good on the water now?
Yeah, so if you want to go back one slide, that one, yeah. So for this month, we had 49.363 acre feet. If you compare last month, it was about 96 acre feet that was pumped in the month of May. And so we're thinking some of the leaks, especially the large leak, was a huge contributor to that. And there'll be more conversation on that in executive, but did want to let y'all know that we are seeing hopefully a trend to continue, which is lower pumping numbers. It's almost 50% difference in acre feet. So and then do want to highlight that we are actually in stage 3 with all the water we have gotten. So obviously that'll only last so long, but we do. That's great to finally be in. We can allow us a little bit of breathing room as far as that is concerned.
Another chart. That was the water leak at the trailer park. That was on hold for a while, and we finally got that one fixed.
I had a question on this picture. You see between the 2 colors? No, the second picture. One more up. That one. Between the 2 colors, You see that yellow and blue, the one underneath?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
At the gas line.
So wouldn't it be safer or wiser to put the collar on top of that gas line?
I mean, we tried, we couldn't.
You couldn't get it?
No, it's right on it. Yeah, that's the gas line right there.
So is this possible breakage in the future of either gas or water? Put some kind of cushion between those two, a pillow?
Yeah, we put little spacers underneath it.
Was this one that WTG was out there for? I know they've been out on a couple of
No, they didn't
sites,
want to.
So that is the gas line?
Yeah, and that's the gas line right there.
That goes underneath?
Yeah.
Yes.
You see that little bit of yellow and blue kind of popping out that way? Yeah.
Wow.
And that was one of those midnight projects we had to change over water. And you can see it right there, the old line. And the line next to it is the gas line. That's how close they are. They're just like right next to each other. And that was one of the mains we had on Oak Street, was leaking. And that was another changeover on Gray. They had to dig all that by hand, just about all that fiber and all those cables right there.
Is that fiber line right in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fiber and Spectrum.
Another tie-in they did. And I think that was Cortez Road, the new tie-in they did. And that's all.
Before we move on, and you might have any questions, but did want to let y'all know that we made those changes to the disconnection, in the utility ordinance, and making sure we were very clear on when we would disconnect. For whatever reason, several months had gone by where several people had not paid in months, some of their utility bills. So I told staff to go ahead and do some letters up and get that done in accordance with the new sections we adopted. We had about a little over 40 people that were sent letters, and we got it down to 20. But their time is now up, so tomorrow morning, so just in case you start to get some calls.
Water, right?
Yeah.
Could be sewage as well?
Yeah. So just in case y'all get calls, did want to give y'all a heads up to that, we will be starting disconnecting some individuals or properties tomorrow.
When we do that, on the day that we do that, do you guys knock on the door and say, hey?
We usually use stickers, utility off. We leave the stickers.
On the door?
Yep. So we sent out the original letters. We've even, in that 60-day window, we sent out the letters 60 days ago, right? So 59 days ago, I guess. But we sent that, and we've even tried to call some of the ones we knew and had contact information for, and some have, like I said, we got it down to 20 out of above 40 on that original list. Yes, yeah. So paid the amount that they owed plus the current bills. So we've made every effort to try to do that, but we did want to just let y'all know that if y'all get any calls that we are doing that process. So
Good. Council, anything else for Public Works? All right, Chief, you are up.
I don't have any pictures because I'm glad Alderman Rodriguez is a little too observant there. So, typical month there, 238 calls for service. Not a lot of accidents, not a lot of alarms, really. So kind of nothing out of the ordinary there. 118 citations issued, predominantly, what's that say, motor vehicle registrations, no insurance, driver's license related. There's a little breakdown there. You can look at it a little closer there.
This is better than pictures.
Better than pictures. Hold on. How do you get back here? Oh, got to use the arrow going back. These are all different, No. Arrest I'm not going to go through each one. DWI, drug paraphernalia, warrant service, public intoxication, warrant service, mail theft, DWI, different, all kinds of stuff in there. Basically the same stuff, just different. Only the names and dates have changed, basically. Thefts, again, nothing. You got HEB, you got some plants from John Wayne Drive. Spectrum Internet box from Texarkana Boutique. That's an interesting theft. Somebody stole.
1,500 is the fee and penalties.
No, sir. That's the value of the theft.
That's what they put into.
That's the value of the theft of. Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. And those are estimated many times. Theft of an electric toothbrush and teeth whitening strips at HEB. Worst thing you can ever be is at a crook convention and your teeth aren't as white as they could be. So generator battery, that's a construction out there at one of the new subdivisions. So lots of vehicles out there, lots of and they use stuff, they leave it there, and so we always have thefts, but those are again not very many, but that every time they're building something, those are good targets for thieves. They stole a realtor lockbox from a residence on Main Street. That's another weird theft. And some briskets from HEB, and that guy actually, I think, was arrested.
You said him.
Yeah. And then groceries, suspect was identified, and an iPhone 12 from the roaster truck stop. Burglary of a vehicle, Best Western Plus, some construction equipment, and a guy's backpack. Probably a work truck parked over there. Criminal mischief, we had damaged door locks at Restore Nutrition. I'm not sure what happened over there. Danny did 30 different background checks for various state, federal, and local organizations. Fire marshal had a fire on Main Street. 15,000 block of Main Street. What did we have in the 15,000 block of Main Street? Matt, I can't remember that one. Anyway, it says Matt and I were there. Anyway, Matt's also working on a lot of stuff with the new school edition. Been working with him quite a bit. Special events, we had a crime scene course. That's a 40-hour course we sent 2 officers to. Went to Alamo Area Police Chiefs meeting. That was Matt and David and I one morning. Had a school safety meeting over in Hondo. And then later that night had a school safety meeting at Lytle. Department head meeting, first responder, had some officers at the first responder breakfast, had alert training. That was a mandated course. That's Mendez, Tapoya, and Reyes. And then Danny attended Medina County Crime Stoppers, had Medina County Sexual Assault Response Team meeting in Hondo. And then 3 officers went to a police leadership and supervision class in San Antonio on 6/30, followed by 2 more days of a different class, same provider, as we're working to, build our staff up, develop leaders in the department as we're growing. Again, you can see lots of meetings and things, these different committees and stuff we have to go to. It's kind of, we don't have to go to them, but if you're going to be involved, you need to at least try to make most of them, what you can. Cases filed, 11 suspects charged at the Atascosa County Attorney's Office for 14 charges, 9 felony charges Atascosa County, and 9 people, 9 charges, and in Medina County Criminal District Attorney 1 and 1, nothing in Bexar County this month. We had 4 Mercy Health detention or transports, and then we can go through there assisting, trying to see what all we got, if there's anything interesting. Most all those, traffic accident, traffic accident, traffic accident, traffic accident. It's a traffic stop. That was a guy coming back from the jail. Traffic accident, a burglary in progress, traffic accident, alarm call, tree that fell on 35. Again, that's and a vehicle blocking the roadway. That was just barely outside the city. Again, the 35 people calling accidents, it could be in Medina County, Atascosa, or Bear, such a small area there. So oftentimes you go to an interstate accident, unless they can tell you exactly, normally you basically have to just drive up. And sometimes it's in that Medina County, sometimes it's in the city, sometimes it's in Bear County, sometimes it's in that little area it's in Atascosa County between the city and Bear County. So those all fall in something like that. Human resources, let me see, for the last, and we just had one that ended, but for the latest one we had on here when we did the report on the second or so, we had six hours of overtime. So that's 6 hours overtime spread out over 11 people over 4 weeks. So again, very, very insignificant. Officers took 127.5 hours of vacation, 75 hours of sick leave, and 99.5 hours of personal leave. So everything's looking good there, and that looks like the end of the slide. So staying busy, no major issues we're dealing with right now. Just still training these 2 new officers, hope to get them out on their own pretty quick. Any questions?
Have any questions for Chief?
I can talk on that.
No, you did well. You did well. Thank you very much. Okay, so that concludes our department reports. It's about 5 minutes to 8. How about this, folks? We take a short break, and how do y'all feel about just grabbing something and going into our executive session and going straight to that? Can we do that?
We can, as long as you announce it out here. As long as you are still announced, we're going into executive.
We have to come back from break. Why don't we just go into executive session, grab something, and meet in?
Yeah, you can grab it once you're back there.
Yeah, okay. All right, so item 8, executive session. The City Council of the City of Lytle may convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorneys, Section 551.072, real property, and Section 551.074, personal matters, to discuss and consider the following items. Edwards Aquifer Authority settlement offer, possible purchase of additional water rights, and employment evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline or dismissal of a public officer or employee, the city administrator. So it is 7:56. Please note that time, and we will go into executive session by way of the kitchen.
I like that.
All right, Paula, show us back in at 8:40 from our executive session. We took no action in the executive session, so let's go on to item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding matters discussed in the executive session.
So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor and city administrator to negotiate a settlement offer with the Edwards Aquifer Authority.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, I'm second on that. Is there any further discussion on the Edwards Aquifer Authority settlement offer motion that's just been made? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. The measure passes.
Okay, with the second item, possible purchase of additional water rights, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city administrator to negotiate and finalize a purchase deal for the additional water rights.
I second that motion.
All right, so I have a motion and a second to proceed with the purchase of additional water rights as discussed in the executive session. Any further discussion on this item? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none opposed. The motion carries. Item number 10, Now we move into the informal informational items pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.0415. The City Council may report on any of the following items: expression of thanks, gratitude, and condolences, information regarding holiday schedules, recognition of individuals, proclamations, reminders regarding City Council events, and reminders regarding community events, and health and safety announcements. What I'll do, as the mayor usually does, go around the room. You have anything to talk about?
sir.
Paula?
I do not, sir.
Zach, anything else?
Just a reminder of Thursday's budget meeting. So,
Yes, budget meeting in chambers here at 6:30 this Thursday.
yes.
There
Okay.
is no budget meeting scheduled for Monday,
No.
the 21st.
No. P&Z schedule.
Planning and zoning. Yeah. Anna, do you have anything
No, sir.
to add? Okay. Well, let me run down a short list here of things. First of all, and this isn't on here, Zach, I know you've carried a little extra load with the mayor being unavailable a few days this week, and I just want to express council's appreciation for your work, and Paula and everyone else on staff who's continued to do a good job here. You've kept things pretty calm and peaceful, and we appreciate that. We do have some upcoming events. There's a senior luncheon this Thursday, July 17th. This will be at the community center at what time, Paula?
Sunday, 10 o'clock.
Starts at 10 o'clock. There will be food.
Yes.
Do you know what they're serving this week?
I do not.
Okay, it will be a surprise. And you've advertised this, is that correct?
I do.
Okay, good. There's also, at the same time, there's an outreach program this Thursday at the community center. We have some birthdays coming up. Austin Lopez from Public Works has a birthday on July 21st. I'm sure the mayor will make mention of that when he's back at the next meeting. The haircut event that we've been doing for the last couple of years prior to school start for school kids is on again this year. This volunteer group comes in. First year it was just boys' haircuts. I believe last year they did for girls. Some beauticians came in, and I guess they'll be doing both again this year. Is that right, Paul?
That's the anticipation.
Okay. And this will be on August 5th. Do we have a time for this?
Tentatively right now, 10 to 2 is what we're
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
And this-
I'll have a flyer out later this week.
Right, but this is open to all school kids in the LISD. Okay, good. And also on August the 7th is the school convocation. This is sort of the kickoff assembly prior to school starting that next week. Okay. Are there any other items that we need to bring up at this time? That's all I had. I believe I need a motion to close this meeting.
Mayor Pro Temp, I'd like to make a motion to close this meeting.
I second the motion.
All right, any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, aye also, so that motion passes.
I didn't know how to make a motion to adjourn. I
always beat you to it.
You and Richard always do that.
Yeah, you like, Michael's?
I'm always in a hurry to get out of here,
That's it.
so. I jump-